fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our campaign is Masks of Nyarlathotep. It was written by Larry DiTilio, Lynn Willis, Mike Mason, Lynn Hardy, Paul Fricker, and Scott Dorward, and it's available from Chaosium. Our game master is Morgan Llewellyn, and this is episode 8. Our recap will be done by Stuart Lively as his character, Hauser Grunwald. So, without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Stuart?
Jackson, 9! They butchered him in his own hotel room. So it's fine. That damnable cult butchered him like he was an animal. We fought and captured one of his assailants. Another we killed, and the last wounded, but got away. All had red headbands. They carved some horrible cultish symbol on Jackson's forehead. Poor Morris was horribly wounded in the fray. We gathered 7 clues that Jackson had in his room, plus what we pulled from the coup cultists. There was a letter from Cairo, Egypt, dated March 3rd, 1919, from a Imran Bassart to Mr. Carlyle, concerning some information of a past area of the old quarter, identified a certain Faraz Najjar in the Street of Jackals is in possession of some great interest for sale. There is also a business card with a Pinhue Foundation in London. Edward Gavadin, that it was a director, listed on the card. There was a matchbox, Stumbling Tiger Bar in Shanghai, and also a picture, a steamship in between 2 junk boats in Shanghai. Well, at least apparently we're not certain. Emerson Imports, New York, signed on the back, Celius in Crane, from a business card. Just a couple more as a letter to Jackson Elias regarding important book research from a Miriam Artwright at a library. And a flyer, Cult of Darkness conference led by a Professor Cowles. But after that horrible incident in Jackson's hotel rooms, the police came in response to the gunfire and began an investigation. All of us were questioned thoroughly and asked not to leave town. We discovered from leading police investigator, Lieutenant Poole, that there have been 8 other murders in this, very much like this, in Harlem, that match the details perfectly to this murder. Dr. Limming mentions that death markings are all related to a death cult in Africa. To Lieutenant Poole's dismay, Police Captain Robson claimed jurisdiction over the Jackson case and took the captured cultist into his custody. Octavius, Frederick, and Morris meet with Kensington to gather more clues and gain tons of leads. Christopher, LeBeau, and I head to Harlem to investigate any connections between the Harlem and Jackson's murders. Where will this all lead? And what terrible mess did Jackson Elias uncover?
Excellent. Morgan?
All right, so while Octavius, Morris, and Frederick are with Josiah Kensington mourning the death of their friend and reading the strange notes that Jackson Elias has left behind him, waiting for their meeting with Dr. Lemming in the afternoon, Christopher and Hauser had gone off to Harlem, so we're going to start with those 2.
It would be prudent to check the Hall of Records or perhaps the library to uncover any relations, any leads to the connections between these murders. If these information is going to be hidden by the police or made difficult, we should at least be able to get newspaper information on this.
Yeah, I like your train of thought there, Hauser. Let's there must be a spot around here.
So finding a library is not terribly difficult. a couple of options. We'll just be so if you want to give me, so you're looking for newspaper clippings about the murders.
Yeah, we're trying to find correlations between the murders, maybe death cult relations, anything that might start piecing this stuff together.
And like areas, like if I can find, like if they mention a street name of where that, you know, we can get an idea of how far this has been spread out over Harlem, if there's a pattern.
All right, make a library use check.
All right.
Both of us?
Oh, that's
Both
my
of you.
bread and butter. Oh, yeah, I said it's my bread and butter, and of course, fail it immediately. 88 out of 7.
Regular pass.
All right, so
Just got a 25.
you kind of find the more the sensationalized the string of murders. They all seem to the correlation between them, you can't really piece it together. They're spread all across Harlem. The only outlier of any murder like this that's been outside of Harlem's boundaries was Jackson.
Right.
It was the first time. That was the first one.
Are all the murders men? All the victims men, or
no, and they're
Okay,
all
so-
different, and they're different ethnicities too.
Right, so it's literally randomized? Yeah.
That's a good approach. If we can't find out much information about the murders themselves, maybe we can find the loved ones or people who knew who was murdered. Find out what they were working on or researching at the time. Jackson Elias was murdered for what he was discovering. He was uncovering in this matter.
Yeah.
So what have these people been murdered for? And then if we find out.
My other question is this guy who's been, the guy who's been arrested for the murders, this Hilton Adams guy, he supposedly done all the murders, and then he got arrested. He's I'm assuming locked up now, and then yet Jackson's been killed in the same way with the same markings. So maybe we talk to, if Hilton has any family or loved ones, perhaps they can tell us what kind of man he was, and if he's really the one who's done it, or he's just been framed by. And I take my voice quite low and look around, and make sure we're not being overheard by corrupt police officers who just kind of want to pin the blame on somebody. And fortunately around these parts, it's going to be
Well, you and I both know this is, it's many more people. It's just not one person. As evidence, we saw 3 of the fuckers in Jackson Elias's room.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we'll make note of all the names of the victims and kind of any other names that pop up. Are all the articles written by the same person, by any chance? Like, are they all Rebecca Schausberg, or?
So most of them, all the ones from the New York Times are.
Okay.
There's multiple newspapers that have covered it, but if it was New York Times, it's her.
Yeah.
So she's going to have a lot of that information as well.
Yeah, we need to speak to some of the people that knew the victims. We have to find out what they were working on or where they have been. That can, if we can get 1 or 2 pieces of information to start correlating with what Jackson was working on. Jackson mentioned something about the death cults, much bigger than he originally anticipated.
Is there a main hub of Harlem, like a main kind of area, like a busy street?
Well, there's I guess any of those hot spots are speakeasies.
Okay.
There's a myriad of very famous ones, including the Cotton Club.
The Cotton Club. Okay. I got an idea, Hauser. If you want to get information and things, you want to talk to someone who's always paying attention, always got their ear to what's going on. They listen to everyone on the street and they see everything. There's only one person I can think of, in New Orleans at least, but I'm pretty sure the culture is pretty same here. That'll be picking up that sort of information. I've got an idea. Come with me, and I'll walk outside of the library, and I'm gonna head to kind of a more populated area, and I'm looking for a shoe sign. I'm a shoe sign guy.
Okay, that's
Like, yeah.
easy enough.
And you know how they got them on the side of the street, and there's like the chair, and you kind of get up. So I'm gonna head over to one of those, and I'm gonna look at Hauser and say, hey, you feel like getting your shoe shine there, Hauser?
Yeah, it's definitely time.
So I'll kind of give some coins to the boy there and say both of us, and we'll both sit up on the thing, and I'm gonna sort of start to ask him, like, you know, hey, so you hear anything about these grisly murders, kid?
Which ones?
Well, yeah, specifically the ones that and again I'm gonna keep my voice down and stuff, and the ones that Adams fella has been charged with.
Oh, no. Well, what about him?
Well, listen, we're not really sure that Adams is the guy.
Oh, well, anybody could have told you that.
Really? So folks around here, you all believe that Adams been framed, huh?
Well, him and his friends, they would go around. They were looking, trying to catch the killer. And
right. Listen, kid, and again, I'm trying to, you know, a friend of mine was killed last night, supposedly by the same people.
and his eyes go wide, like, really?
Yeah, listen, you might have read about him in the papers. Jackson Elias, you heard of him? Well,
Can't
listen,
say I have.
He's a good friend of mine. We've been through a lot, and me and my friend Hauser here, we're trying to find out who's behind our friend's killer, and quite frankly, we don't think this Adams fella is the guy. So, is there any chance you could put us in touch with or point us in the right direction of those friends of his that you were mentioning?
No, I don't know him. Just your talk.
Do you know which like whereabouts they hang out? Adam's friends and stuff.
Nope, she shakes his head.
All right. Well, if
A lot of people.
if you do hear anything or know of anything, give me a call. I'm gonna pull out I'll have like a business card type thing, and I'm gonna have $1 attached to it.
Once again, eyes go wide again. Oh, thank you. No, thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. The best shoe shine I've ever had. What do you reckon, Hauser?
This is very good. Danke. Thank you.
Remember, kid, call me if you hear anything, right?
Oh, will do.
All right, Hauser. What do you want to do next?
If there's any way to speak to anyone that is related to the victims, I think this would be very important.
Can you give me an idea roll as a private investigator?
Yep. That is a 20. Which, yeah, it's a hard pass.
Yeah, you get this distinct feeling that this Rebecca Schusenberg, the one who's been reporting on all these murders, probably would know Hilton Adams' family if she's been looking into this for so long.
Yeah, she's gonna know. I think this reporter lady, she's going to be the one that's going to have all the information for the victims' families and the like. Listen, I think maybe we should head on back to this meeting we've got with the other fellas, and we'll reconvene with them, and then we can tell them what we know. And we've got all the names of the victims and stuff like that, and we can come up with a plan. Maybe they've come up with something. I don't know.
Agreed. We will regroup and find out the next step before the funeral tomorrow.
All right. So we'll head off to the meeting place to meet with the doctor.
So you guys are heading there. Octavius, Frederick, and Morris, is there anything that you want to do before meeting up with Dr. Lemming?
I do want to ask the GM. Well, I'll just play it in the game. So we left one victim, one attacker alive, and I assume he was arrested by the police. Then I wonder if they've gotten any information out of him. Maybe we should go by the police station at some point and talk to Lieutenant Poole and see if he's found out anything more.
I'm all for that, but do you think they'd tell us? I mean, they don't know us from Adam.
Maybe not, but we were there.
Yeah, I mean,
They know that we're.
Look at the state of me. I think I deserve to know. Maybe that'll count for something with them.
I think
as a victim.
It's not unusual. It's not unheard of. I mean, I'm a man with some influence and money, and I'm interested in finding out who killed my friend. I don't know. I might be able to convince him to tell us something. Poole seemed kind of pissed off that the case had been taken away from him after 8 victims.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's done quite a lot of research. Help us a lot, if he could help us out. We could keep him in the loop. He's probably interested.
Certainly.
Bloody sharp knives, I'll tell you that.
Better than a sharp than a dull one.
Honest to God, can't believe that he's gone.
Or serrated. It'll heal faster, cleaner cut.
He must have been onto something. And he talked to the wrong people, pissed off the wrong people. We got to be really careful who we talk to.
Well, if you recall, the evidence that we found in his hotel room, actually, who's the publisher? The publisher's
Kensington.
name? Kensington, and we're with him now, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Kensington, did he ever go? Has he been to England or China in the
Elias?
past few years?
Yes.
Recently?
That's where he's been.
Right. Yes.
He came from England to here.
Okay.
And
So
he's been sending me notes from all over the place.
right.
He's obviously been to a lot of places other than that too. Shanghai, China.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think he's collecting these things. We got matchbook. Why would he have a matchbook from Shanghai unless he's been there? No, he's definitely onto something. His journal there says that it's a much bigger conspiracy than he ever imagined.
Well, we can take some solace in the fact that our clues won't dry up due to a bumbling police agency.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
If we exhaust every option here, then we might be able to find answers elsewhere.
And I think Christopher has the right idea that there's probably a connection there with Harlem and this the cult people that attacked Elias. But we need to find out some more. I'd like to find out. Is that what we're going to Lemming for? To see if he can identify the symbol on the forehead.
So you're meeting with Lemming. He was a doctor that kind of advised the police when they first started looking into it. He was the one that helped them identify where the symbol's origins were.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll get whatever information we can out of him.
Just remember, we have to be careful. We have to be very careful who we talk to. The people who attacked us, are at the bottom of the hierarchy. That's the sort of people they send to do jobs like that.
Hopefully,
People at
how's
the top could be anyone at
true.
any level.
It's true. Let's just hope Christopher and House are okay. That could be a rough area of town.
Just remember what happened in Peru. That was a rich and influential man.
Yeah, we got to be careful not to just go rushing in this time. We got to keep we got to do all of our research beforehand before we go running in. Find giant worms living in a giant pyramid out in the middle of the jungle.
Hopefully this time our library visit isn't interrupted by more murders.
Hey, what did we ever do with that mask?
It's taken care of. It's safe.
I wish I'd hung on to that bit of gold.
All right. Well, Kensington, we're going to have to go to a meeting. We'll keep you in the loop as to what's going on.
Will you be at his funeral tomorrow?
Absolutely. You be careful, though. I mean, we were planning on going to Arkham, but we could postpone that for the funeral and then go on. But
Arkham, it's an odd little town.
Yeah, but they got the big university there, Miskatonic. They know a lot about weird shit there. You be careful though, because if people are after Jackson, you are associated with Jackson. You lock your doors and keep a loaded shotgun.
I'll be careful, and he's taking very, very generous pours from his bootleg.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember these are nasty people. You shoot first and ask questions later. Don't give them the benefit of the doubt.
Well, unless
you all be careful.
No, anyone wearing red headgear, shoot first. We're not going to be wearing red hats.
Keep that in mind. Best wishes to all of you.
Right.
Yep. We'll see you tomorrow.
And he just kind of slumps in his chair and stares off into the distance.
I'm thinking hopefully everything's okay, but if things get really weird, and I'm talking to them after we've left. Things get really weird, we need to get Kensington to a different location.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, I was going to ask you fellas as Americans how I'd go about getting a gun, but I can't see my hand being much good for holding a gun for a long while. So, I don't know. I don't know what use I am to be honest.
We'll fix you up with something.
Shit, I used to be able to handle myself. I don't know what happened. I was always good in a fight, but I walked straight into it.
Well, we seem to be.
Don't understand that.
We seem to be
That's why I went for the cutting board first.
living under an unlucky star. It's shattered all of us, including poor Jackson.
It takes someone somewhere is rolling dice and getting all the worst rolls. It's terrible.
Could be.
Never had luck like this before.
More like we're rolling dice and we're playing fair, but somebody else ain't.
Mm. Yeah,
All right,
let's get going. Have a long conversation with whoever sent those fellas.
All right, so you all meet up a little bit before meeting him outside your hotel or his apartment.
Didn't we set up a lunch date, right?
Yeah.
1 o'clock, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So would that be at his apartment or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he will be graciously host you in his apartment.
All right.
Like,
That's where we'll go then.
yeah, we can meet up in the lower lobby or whatever.
Gents?
Oh, there you are.
How was Harlem?
Well, we found out a little bit of information. Is it, again, looking around, it seems my suspicion may be correct, that the locals seem to think that Hilton Adams' character is completely innocent. And in fact, they said that him and his friends were actually trying to catch whoever was doing the killing. So
And
it sounds like this Captain Robson guy is maybe trying to.
Then it's important that we
Yeah.
find out where he was arrested. You think?
Maybe.
Well, he could have been arrested near one of the murder sites.
So, in fact, Christopher and Hauser, who have been digging through the newspapers, that's exactly what happened. He was found with a knife at the scene of a murder and was arrested.
Just like we were found at the scene of Jackson Elias's murder. I mean, he could have been just like one of us.
Well, I'm trying to figure out if we can figure out where this is all centered. Now, we'd like to say it's Harlem, but that's not necessarily the case because, I've gone hunting before. I don't live where I hunt. Somebody may be hunting in Harlem, but coming from somewhere else. Of course, it could be in Harlem. There's a lot of places you could hide in Harlem.
True.
I am curious why is Captain Robson so eager to take over Lieutenant Poole's investigation.
Well, it's his jurisdiction, though, huh?
Yeah.
Well, but
Could be to
Well,
save
it
face.
wasn't. Jackson's murder wasn't in his jurisdiction.
the reason why I'm curious about this is that might the culprits that were apprehended for the other 8 murders, might they be framed? And if so, might some people in the police be in on this
It's
in a
possible.
more nefarious manner?
I think, you know what we do know? I think we can very safely assume that there is some sort of a cult, possibly a death cult involved here because of the symbol in the forehead and so forth, various. If we can find out as much as we can about that symbol, that cult, the religious practices of the cult, whatever we can find out, then it'll be easy to see if we can figure out where they are. We can look for signs in the neighborhood. We can see if we can track down people that make a certain sign when they walk through a doorway or wear a certain color or.
Dr. Lemming, he was the one that he saw the other cases, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking he has a good chunk of knowledge.
Would know a lot about them, maybe. Perhaps even something about the victims themselves, which is very important to know if they had any connection with what Jackson Elias was working on. Maybe they stumbled onto something. Otherwise, why would the cult kill them?
I think it's very likely that the other victims might have been something else and that Jackson got killed because he got snoopy. The others might not have been so snoopy, but they were victims of this cult.
Wrong place, wrong time, sort of thing.
Maybe they were sacrifices. Who knows? We don't know what that's why I say
we are dealing with a cult. So.
We need to know more about what the cult is up to.
Yeah, agreed.
What kind of a cult it is.
This Lemming is our man's in right now.
All right, so you enter his apartment building, and the lobby is pretty much empty except for a clerk that's kind of behind a desk, kind of reading a book.
Good afternoon.
Can I help you?
Yeah, we're here to see Dr. Lemming. We have a lunch appointment with him.
Kind of flip through a couple of the pages. Yep. He should be expecting you.
All right. Do we have to sign in or something?
Up the stairs to the left.
All right. Thank you.
I got just waves you off. Goes back to reading his book.
I look around in the lobby area. Do I see any suspicious characters sort of following us around?
No.
No, there was nobody in the lobby.
Nobody's in here.
I
You
just,
can make a spot if you wanted to notice anybody following you, like from the street.
yeah, I'm starting to become
Like back from
suspicious.
Harlem.
I also,
Yeah.
as we're going up the stairs, I sort of flash you all that I've got my gun.
Good.
You know,
I don't have mine, unfortunately.
last time we walked into a hotel room.
That's fair. I might want to look at getting something a little bit more concealable. Susan's not very good at hiding.
All right, so you go up the stairs. You go to the left in a hotel, not an apartment building. That's my mistake. But so you go to the left, and down the hallway you see standing outside one of the rooms is an older gentleman. He appears to be somewhere in his 60s. And when he sees you come down the hallway, he gets a bright smile on his face.
Dr. Leeds?
Yes. Are you Mr. Fox, I presume?
Yes, I'm Octavius Fox. These are my...
Oh, pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. Christopher LeBeau, Hauser Grunwald, Morris Michna, and Frederick Chapman.
Yes, well, come in.
Excellent. I was really
As you
sorry
enter
to...
the room, it's a mess. There's books stacked everywhere. There's little curios and trinkets from all over the world. Just a clutter of folklore and myth-related objects.
So
Please, take a seat. Take a seat. Right over here, and he starts clearing papers and books off of chairs.
we don't want to take up too much of your time. Well, to sort of summarize, one of our good friends, Mr. Jackson Elias, you may have heard of some of his books. He tends to write rather sensational books based on his research on death cults around the world.
Oh, I'm sure I've probably read some of his work. In fact, a book or two of his may be in this very room. I don't know.
Last night, we were going to have a meeting with him, and when we arrived at his hotel room, he had been murdered.
Oh,
We were very upset about it.
Yes, that's. Well, and you see, he goes a little paler, and you see, he pulls a silver flask out of his pocket.
We think
my nerve tonic. Sorry.
we managed to fight off a number of cultists that were in the room. We called the police. They have one man under custody. One man is dead. They carved. Yes, we believe so, because they carved something into his forehead, and I show him the symbol. Does this mean anything to you?
Oh yes, yes. They consulted my expertise back when the murders first started, and I'll tell you what I told them. This is it definitely looks East African, but whoever is doing this is very clever. It's just out of fear. They're just making this all ritualistic and cult-like just to scare people away. They're just normal criminals.
In your
There's no reason to believe that there's a death cult operating here in New York.
So you're thinking that these are criminals who use fear to intimidate the people around them?
Yes, of course. there's plenty of bootleggers. Got to get creative.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. So what is this symbol? What does it symbolize? What religious group or?
And that's the thing. I can't place it, so that's why I think it's a fake. It's not really the style. The style reminds me, as I said, of general East African designs, but it's not in anything I've seen or read or researched. So they're very clever, but.
Well, we think that our friend may have stumbled onto something, perhaps this group of criminals, you imagine.
Quite unfortunate.
Can I do a psych roll on the doctor?
Yeah, go for it.
Were you given any details on the other murders? We're trying to piece together for our friend, what happened to him.
I mean, as far as the other murders are concerned, I mean, the new one is quite the most startling revelation. So either this Hilton Adams fellow is the wrong man, or he has accomplices. He's part of that same criminal syndicate.
I've got a regular pass.
He's seems to be more excited that he has company.
Okay.
Like he's just very excited to talk to you guys. He's a bit of a recluse, but he still likes to talk to people. So you're not getting like a malicious vibe. He's not trying to mislead you. He's being very genuine, but he wants to keep. You can tell he wants to keep. Conversation going for a bit.
Did Mr. Elias have any contact with you?
Me? No.
None at all. We have suspicions. These criminals might follow certain practices just for the sake of the show. Any kind of signs you could give us that we might look for to see if somebody's a member of the criminal?
If you're criminal syndicate. No, I don't know anything that they would do for the criminal syndicate. But if you're interested in this African occult angle, you want to go talk to Mr. Silas Nkwanye of the Juju House in Harlem. I can give you his address. Very kind man. In fact, he's sold me many curios around here at a very good price.
How do you spell his last name, sir?
That is N''Kwane. So I, as a keeper, probably butchering it.
And that's the same spelling of the one I've got?
That is the name he said is the exact same name that's on the back of the Emerson Imports business card.
Yeah.
That Jackson.
Okay,
so the import guy. Well, what are you a professor of, by the way?
Oh, yeah, I'm not a professor at the moment, but folklore.
Oh, you're a folklorist.
My specialty. Yes.
On the, perhaps the whole death cult thing is rather sensational and silly idea. However, we also, Mr. Elias had some connections to other places as well, Shanghai and so forth. Do you know of any correlations between the folklore of East Africa, or did you say East Africa? East Africa and China?
Australia?
Can I get a group luck roll from you guys? Whoever has the lowest luck.
My luck's 41.
Oh, it's 79.
71. I don't have the lowest luck.
Anybody got lower than 41?
Nope. 60.
Right. I got 81 out of 41. So no.
Okay, so you asked him this question. And after about 2 hours of him talking and ordering up lunch for you guys, he's given you a mini lecture series about all these different folklore things across the world and how different cultures, there's certain patterns of myth cycles and things that, these common themes and characters, and this whole, like, he's lecturing you like for a class, but he's very, very adamant, very, very enthusiastic, very happy to get this chance, but he's not really giving you it.
He's not giving us any valuable
And you
information.
get the distinct impression that beyond what he's told you about the murders, he doesn't. He's really quite oblivious beyond
All right.
what he's participated.
Yeah,
Well,
he
thank you
doesn't
very
seem-
much.
Yeah.
Your chef
yes,
is still.
well,
Your chef is really
very,
good.
very delightful. Yes, the hotel kitchen is quite great here. And you see he's getting ready to just talk.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We have a train to catch, and we will.
Oh,
We may consult you later. Is that allowed?
oh yes, yes. Feel free to stop by anytime.
Of course.
Of course.
Well, boys, let's go.
Thank you so much.
We got to go to the funeral tomorrow. You know what time the funeral is?
It's at 2 p.m.
Oh,
It was in
why
the
isn't it?
newspaper article.
Why can't people get buried first thing in the morning?
When you
Well, you
guys
need time to dig through all the snow.
I
and
hope
the
to do
dirt.
that tonight.
when you guys met with Kensington, did Jackson Elias have a manuscript of the latest works he was working on sent to him?
A
That would be very
rough
helpful.
manuscript.
He had a lot of notes, and he
So
seemed
he
to think.
hadn't put it.
No, he hadn't begun putting it all together. But
No.
there was some indication that he was becoming a little unstable mentally towards the end. A lot of his writing style went from, writing down the facts in a very concise manner to all over the page.
Mhm.
Jeez.
Kensington wouldn't let us take the papers. Obviously, the Elias papers are valuable at this point, but we're certainly able to look at them anytime we need to.
Yeah,
But there was information from all over the globe.
We need to
think
get
that, right?
copies of this. This is important.
Well,
Because-
as long as it's in the safe, we have reasonable access to it, and no one else knows of it.
Not
Aside from
exactly
us
sure
and
how we
Kensington.
can get copies of it.
I fear for Kensington.
Speaking of things being safe, Freddie, do you still have the mask?
Is there anyone around us on the street? I'm gonna look.
No, it's cold. It's very, very cold
Okay.
outside. People aren't going around as much. So there are still, there's plenty of people still. It's New York, but nobody in the immediate
It's-
vicinity.
It's buried in a
Okay,
4-foot deep hole in a very specific location in New Mexico.
All right, that's all. Yeah, it's almost too much information I need, but
Why don't we
it's safe.
Why don't we give it a code name? Like the turtle. That way, even if we're someplace, we can just say, "Where'd you put the turtle?"
Did you
Hope we
bury
all
the
know.
turtle? Everyone will look horrified around us.
It
no,
died.
no,
We
my
buried the
my
turtle
my pet is currently being babysat.
in hibernation, underground.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
All right,
Well, how long is the train ride to Arkham?
about 6 hours.
And what time is it now?
It's about 2:30.
So
So you had your lunch appointment at 1 o'clock, then he talked your ear off, so it's about 4.
That's about full.
Oh gosh, yeah. So
Well,
it'd be 10 at night.
we could try jump on a train to Arkham, meet with the other professor, and be back in time for the funeral.
No, you can't. What are you going to do? Meet with the professor at 2:00 in the morning?
4 now. 6 hours. That's you get there at 10.
Yeah, they don't even know we're coming.
We would.
But we know he's at Miskatonic.
We know he's at Miskatonic, but he might be home at 3
Yeah,
o'clock.
he might be
in the
grading
middle of the
paper.
night.
So,
Who knows?
We'll just have to go afterwards.
Go to the wedding, or not the wedding, the funeral.
Let's do this. Let's go after the funeral. We'll we'll hang around and chat with the people for a while about Jackson, and then we'll get on a train. We'll go to Ockham and spend the night. I'll put us up in a nice place in Ockham, and then we'll go to the university in the morning after.
You know,
Very
Don't.
kind of you, Octavius. Very
What's
kind
that?
of you.
those people were looking for something that he had.
You
They're
think
going to be
so?
at the funeral. They're going to be at the funeral. They
That's a
won't be
good
able to
point.
resist.
You know, if
Possibly.
they're just
Crazy.
criminals, maybe they did he figured out their operation and they just killed him.
Nah, these guys, I mean, look at what they stabbed Morris with. Just criminals don't walk around with that
But
kind
if
of
they're
weapon.
trying to scare people into thinking there's some spooky cult,
Yeah, no, this is, I don't know.
We
It just
we
feels like
know
something
him.
weird.
well, I don't know
He-
what they'd want from. The only thing they could ever want from Jackson would be the information that he's gathered.
And we have that.
Well, we don't. Kensington has it, most of it.
But we got a lot of the stuff that was in his room.
We have some of it, yeah. Did we snaggle all that stuff out, or did the police?
No, we got it.
You smuggled all that stuff out in your pockets.
Right.
would like to go back later to Kensington's and take photographs of that material. I have a very good camera for that.
Of course you do.
And did you guys say that the reporter, Schoenberg, she's going to be at the funeral?
Yeah, I'm sure she would be, because, you know, she's going to get
I
the
would
scoop.
imagine so, yes.
Going to get the
Yeah.
scoop on the whole thing.
I wouldn't mind having a chat with her about the Harlem killings and stuff, and this Adams guy.
Be careful of that woman, because she'll be interviewing you.
I've dealt with reporters, and plus, I got a reporter of my own on my side, don't I, Hauser?
Well,
Yeah.
all right then. Is there anything we want to do this evening? Let me
Some more soup. It's cold out here.
I'm gonna see if I can get the tickets booked for tomorrow's. Where it will be. Let's plan on going out at 4. I'll do all of that. I'll get everything together tomorrow.
4 in the morning?
No, 4 tomorrow afternoon after the funeral.
After the funeral.
Hmm.
All right,
Well,
so Octavius, this isn't really a problem for you. It's easy to get your tickets, to book lodging in Arkham, all that, the whole trip.
We'll stay at the Bishop Hotel.
Yeah, Bishop, nice place.
All right.
Go have some dinner at somewhere near the hotel, I guess.
Gustavo's.
Gustavo's.
Yeah, I think I'll just go back to my hotel room, but and get all the stuff organized.
Good.
All right. So is anybody going to do anything else tonight or in the evening?
I'm also going to see if I can track down a gun for Morris.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is there an Abercrombie and Fitch store anywhere?
There is plenty of shopping. Tracking down a gun is pretty simple. A change of clothes is pretty simple.
Let's go see if we can find a few guns that are stamped and sold at Abercrombie and Fitch, because those go for quite the premium in 60 years.
Thought all those guns were attached to young muscular men.
Morris, how is your arm?
It's been nearly cut off. Thank you for asking.
Oh, jeez.
Has it started itching?
It's just very, very sore and swollen at the moment. I mean, the doctor did a good job of stitching it back together, but and I can feel my fingers. I can't move them very much.
I've had some experience as a medic back in the day. So later on, if you need the bandage changed tonight, let me know. I would want to make sure it's clean.
Please do. I mean, I've been cleaning it as best I can.
One good thing about the cold, it'll help keep the swelling down.
I should hope so, yes.
All right.
We should never split up, though. We need to be on the lookout. I don't trust these people. They have not gone away.
Back to the hotel and just, I guess, yeah, I just say call it a night.
All right, not a problem. And also with you helping Morris with his bandages and things, Morris, you could recover 1 hit point tonight.
Too kindly. Oh, if only my office wasn't a complete mess. Could find a pencil.
And you're all awake on the 17th.
What's the date?
January 17th.
Sleep well, Hauser?
Like a baby.
Well, you sure don't snore like a baby.
I'm sorry, this is 1925?
Yes, 1925.
All right. Gentlemen, there you are. So I got us 5 first-class train tickets to Arkham at 4:35 p.m. And we will be staying at the Bishop, which is a nice, decent hotel, not too far from the university.
Very kind of you for putting us up, Octavius.
It's the least I can do. We gotta find these fuckers and kill them all, or bring them to justice, whatever that means.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm up for a bit of revenge.
Well, given the current state of justice in the area that we're in, killing them all would probably be more efficient.
There's a lot there. We've not only got whatever's going on in Holland. That'll solve the first part of that problem. But Jackson was working on something that involved a lot of other locations as well. I mean, there's that one where he was getting some items, or was it what's his name that was getting those items on the Avenue of Jackals? Or
That was Mr. Carlyle, at least the letter from Cairo, Egypt, March 3rd, 1919.
And Jackson said that he had reason to believe that there's more information on those Carlyles. Maybe they're not dead.
Well, that's the other thing we got to talk to is Carlyle's sister,
Erica.
Yeah. Are you acquainted with Erica?
I've never actually met her, but I met him, and
Right.
I may have met her. It would have been at a party or something, and you don't remember all those sort of things, but
I mean,
I'm sure that she'd be interested. I know the family.
Yeah. Well, it's a better way in than us just,
Right.
drumming up and just being a bunch
Especially
of
if we have some evidence. Well, I think that we should. She was pretty broken up over that. I mean, she went there herself looking for him.
Understandably, yeah, of course.
Ended up finding, I guess they found bodies. I don't know if they were that identified, but they were supposedly all massacred by the Nambi tribes people.
But in Jackson's notes, all the bodies found were of the local help.
That's what, yeah.
Well, maybe they were all sacrificed by this death cult. And they all have a tattoo on their forehead, maybe.
Oh, well, maybe, but they were. See, we don't know what the connection is there. We know that Carlyle and his people went to Egypt, and that's where they were. That's where they went, and that they
went to England first. They went from
well,
here
that's
to
because
England.
that's the only way you can get there. You got to go to England first.
But then they picked up some more They picked
So,
up.
so you're calling the story. They went to England and they got an additional expedition member there.
Yeah.
Right.
And we
They got
found the
Penhue.
name out, right?
We got Penhue.
And
Yeah.
Penhue is the name of the foundation on the car.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a Penhue. It's a
Penhue
very,
Foundation.
very big foundation. Yeah.
And the
Oh.
director was mentioned on it, Edward Gavigan, on the business card.
Yeah.
That
Well,
was
he-
what we
Right.
found.
But Penhue himself, the archaeologist, I think, went with them.
Yeah.
And then apparently Carlisle got sunstroke. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot in Egypt.
Yeah.
And then they decided to take a little vacation and went to Kenya, I believe, and went hunting. And then
What's
they
the
were
name of
massacred by the...
What's the name of the import company again? That's on my card?
Emerson Imports.
Emerson?
Emerson.
Yeah.
Right.
In New York.
New York. That's where we know. Right.
Fairly common name.
It might be interesting to find out if Emerson has a sister company in London that might work with the Penhue Foundation.
Well, also, it's the second time we've heard this Silas Nkwane name. You know, we got it
Yeah.
from Lemming, and it's on the back of this card. So, to me, that's a bit of a red flag. Because Lemming said he knows about death cults and stuff. Because he said, "Oh, if you want to talk about that kind of thing, go to this."
Well,
I think from his name, he's obviously African.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's a good guess. But he said he owns a place in Harlem called the
and
Juju House.
if he owns the shop, curio type shop,
Yeah.
he's connected with the import company. He might be, relic smuggling that.
And he's
that
based in Harlem, where a majority of the
Mhm.
killings have happened.
Yeah, who cares about if he's smuggling stuff? They're all smuggling stuff. But I guess I thought the Juju House was like a jazz club. I don't know why I thought that.
Sounds
Well,
He's
it's
probably
not-
right. He's an importer, isn't he? He's an importer.
So
No, he owns
Emerson
two.
Imports.
Yeah, so it's probably a shop, like you said.
Yeah.
But I
Kuro
thought
shop.
I thought the Juju House was some sort of jazz club. There's so many in Harlem,
Yeah, Cotton Club. Yeah.
Well,
and it's
if
a
it is
funky
jazz-
name.
Yeah, if it is a jazz club, then jazz club / curio shop would be at least an interesting niche on the market.
Say what's the? Do any of you know anything about voodoo and hoodoo and where that stuff all
Yeah.
comes from? Yeah, you would, wouldn't you, LeBeau?
Haiti.
Um,
Haiti.
Oh, so
a lot
that's
of that
Haitian.
stuff.
That's not African.
Yeah. I mean, like, so voodoo isn't. Everyone says voodoo's evil. There's different, like, hoodoo is definitely, that's like the bad level stuff.
I guess the word juju just sort of sounds like voodoo.
Oh, look, voodoo and hoodoo. They Haitian is a part of it, but there's a lot of influence from African religions and that kind of stuff as well. It's a bit of a mixing pot. You see all types in New Orleans for sure.
I suppose we'll find out. It's probably just a jazz club, but
Well, anyway, I think is everyone ready to, I guess,
So,
go
so
get
you
something
have
to eat and then head over to the funeral?
you have the
Yeah.
morning until the funeral. If there's anything else you'd like to go, anywhere you would like to go beforehand,
I need
you have
to
a few
get
hours to do so.
Is
my
Erica?
apartment.
Oh yeah. Well, is
I,
Erica based in New York as well?
So Octavius would know
Yes.
the Carlisle mansion is outside of New York. It's not that far of a drive though.
you mean it's outside of the city? It's in New
Outside
York
of the
State.
city. Yeah, it's in New York
we
State.
need to meet with her and find out what she discovered in more detail. She might not have shared everything.
Well, yeah, we'll have to set that up, but we'll have to set that up for when we get back.
Yeah.
What do you think about driving out to this Juju house and seeing if Mr. Nakwanye can tell us something about this?
Look, because he's based in Harlem, and because his name was on the back of the. I think we should be cautious about showing our hand in Harlem just yet,
Yeah.
because we don't know if he's on the up and up or if he's on the we just don't know.
We should not all go in. At least one or two of us, probably two of us, should be outside laying low, seeing if anyone follows us in there.
Well, we know that Elias went there, right? Because he had the car.
No,
Hmm?
no,
And
we
he
have
got out.
we have the Emerson Imports,
So
which had his name on the back written.
Right. That's what I was
right, so,
talking about.
so that
going
would
there.
mean so Jackson Elias. You would get the impression that Jackson Elias went to Emerson Imports.
Probably to ask questions. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Found a
We
lead.
could
And
ask
then-
Mr. Naquanye what Jackson asked.
No,
information.
Jackson doesn't work for Emerson.
I didn't say that he did. I'm saying that he went there and
We
asked
don't know.
Mr.
He just
Naquan-
he got his name from someone at Emerson.
Yeah, it might have been a clue.
Oh, I see.
With
Yeah.
Lemming, with what Lemming was saying and with the business card, it seems like Emerson Imports is importing, is associated
for-
with Silas, but it's a business.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We
So
don't know
he-
if Jackson he got his name, but we don't know if he met with him.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Well, then we should go to Emerson Imports and see what Mr.
I agree with
Jackson
that.
Elias.
yeah, good.
Yeah.
That first. Yeah.
Any questions that
I
he
agree
might
with
have
that. Yeah. I'm assuming we have an address would be on the card for Emerson.
Oh, yeah. It would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
I,
it's simple enough to get there.
I misunderstood. I thought that the
Yeah.
card had Mr. Naquanye's name printed on it.
No, I was
It's in
someone
handwriting.
wrote it on the back. Yeah.
All right, so going to Emerson Imports, it's this long, narrow building adjacent to the Hudson River. You've got it's just docks everywhere. So it's just mainly a warehouse. When you first go inside, you can see a couple of workers kind of moving around. Some of them just lounging, but there's an office kind of up the stairs.
Let's go up into the office.
And so you go in there and see kind of a larger man kind of sitting back with a cigar. As coming, he says, "Can I help you, gentlemen?"
Yeah. I'm Octavius Fox. Who's the rest of you? We don't want to take up too much of your time. We recently had a friend who met with a rather tragic accident, but he had your card in his pocket, and we were just wondering if he had any business with you, Mr. Jackson Elias.
Oh, yes, the author, if I remember right.
Yes, he's an author.
Talking to me about some well, my condolences. That is passing. Yeah, he came here.
Can we ask what he was looking for?
He was asking me about importers with connections with Mombasa.
In Africa.
Yeah. So I'm the look. I'm the U.S. agent for a man named Aha Singh.
Aha Singh?
Yep. And his only account here is the Juju House, One Ransom Court.
That's owned by Mr. Silas Naquanye.
That is correct.
All right.
Hmm.
And that's all that he asked you about? He was looking for that information?
Yeah, that's what he was after. But
So he wasn't actually importing anything with you?
no, Jackson was not.
I see. Okay.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what I told him. There's just something about Silas that makes my skin crawl.
Really?
In what way? Just
Well,
his
he's-
mannerisms, or
Something is.
I lean in.
I don't know. Just
you can't put your finger.
I
on
mean,
it.
I do business with the man, but
Look, between you and me, do you think that Mr. Naquanye has criminal connections of some sort? Is that why his skin crawls?
probably everybody. No.
All right.
It's not a
Well,
criminal element.
that's good to know.
Something's just off about the man.
Can I do a psych
question.
roll on this guy?
Oh,
yeah.
definitely. I'd like that too.
I did not pass. I am
Does
not
this
good at reading people.
seem like this is like a racial prejudice that this guy has against him, or is this, or that would be a psychology roll?
Yep, that's the psychology roll.
I don't like black people and I live in Harlem.
3. Boom.
Wait,
Oh,
is,
three.
is Emerson Imports in Harlem?
No, Emerson Imports is not in Harlem.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought it. Yeah,
I thought it was.
yeah.
0-3 on a psych roll.
So it's not a racial prejudice.
Oh,
And
so
in fact, when he says it makes his skin crawl, he's like
creeped
understating
out.
it. He doesn't.
The guy's crazy.
Something about this guy unsettles him.
Okay, all right. It's not like, okay, that's good to know. Okay, so this guy is very creepy.
Do you by any chance know what exactly Mr. Nkwane is getting imported in from Mombasa?
Oh, just all sorts. I don't know.
Do you know what the Juju House is? Is it a nightclub?
It's a shop.
It's a shop.
It's a shop. He sells little knickknacks and doodads that he imports from Mombasa. Kind of
maybe
tribal stuff. I don't know much about that.
tribal stuff. Maybe.
Look,
Maybe
I just import stuff.
All right.
Not
We're
an
sorry we
expert.
bothered you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right.
All right, and you can thank me by not mentioning my name if you go poking around.
We won't
Certainly.
mention you at all. So, and as we're leaving, so he seemed a little apprehensive about Mr. Nkwane.
Yeah,
I
which
got the
makes me
distinct impression.
it makes me feel even more that we should be cautious about showing our hand to him.
I'm wondering if Jackson was looking for something that Mr. Nkwane might have.
Whereabouts were Carlisle supposedly killed in Africa?
Kenya?
Kenya.
And
They
it was
were
the whole party, right?
supposedly killed, yes, everybody, by the
Is Mombasa anywhere near Kenya?
Mombasa and Nairobi are the main big cities there.
So that would explain to me why Jackson was potentially looking into someone getting some shipped in from the place that all the people in the Carlisle party were killed.
Right.
And then this cult's come and turned up because he was maybe getting too close to the truth.
Maybe.
So possibly this Nkwane guy, well, he clearly has connections with people in Mombasa. This Aha Singh guy.
We know that, well, if we go by what the newspaper said, we know that after Erica went there looking, trying to find him, the people in the government there eventually discovered, I think that it was the Maasai that discovered the bodies, and that
they killed some local tribesmen.
Well, they took some Nambi tribesmen who I believe they confessed to the murders, but they wouldn't say why they had murdered them.
Confessed or confessed?
Well,
like I said, if the tribesmen have families and the families were being threatened, then
there's 1,000 scenarios we can
exactly. It's all guesswork at this point.
Like I said, just can tell you what I remember the newspaper saying. And then poor Erica came home. She'd hoped to find her brother. She did inherit the entire fortune because pretty much, it was him and then it was her. But, I don't think there's anything nefarious there.
Is there any? Are we still at imports now?
No, we've left.
Oh, okay. No worries.
I wouldn't talk like this if we were still in.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind going and getting some flowers and stuff to take to just some to put on the coffin would be nice.
Well, let's all get dressed. Let's go back to our hotel, get dressed, and meet, at the funeral.
Do I have time to peel off quickly and swing by my apartment
I'll come with you.
in Manhattan? Yeah, I just want to get my little trench broom because it sounds like I might need this now. Ordinarily,
you have enough time. Make sure you get all packed and ready to go.
Yeah.
For right afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll meet you
Hauser
back.
was pretty much packed anyway because he'd been with me in New Orleans, so he's
yeah.
All right. So that's what we'll do.
Everybody gets packed. They get ready for the funeral. 2:00 rolls around, and you all arrive at the Cypress Hill Cemetery in Brooklyn. You go over to the grave. It's just you. Jonah Kensington is there, and two others. You see a man and a young girl, and then there's a priest. Kind of a
no reporter.
Just knowing you can see there seems to be a group of reporter types gathered at a respectful distance, kind of watching. They're not encroaching on the proceedings here.
Do we recognize the man and little girl?
The girl is probably around 18. But the man you recognize, Fox. You've met him once or twice. He introduces himself to all of you. He's Carlton Ramsey. He's Jackson's lawyer. And then the girl is Willis Lai, his niece, who also acts as his secretary.
Carlton, I don't know if you remember me. We've met once, maybe.
Oh, yes, about the Hungry Dead.
Horrible, horrible tragedy.
Yes.
Oh.
And you see the priest. He says, "Well, I would invite those of you who are gathered here to share a memory of the deceased."
Why don't somebody else go first?
I'll step forward and I'll put a flower on the coffin. I'm also gonna put the golden bracelet that I took from Peru. I'm gonna place that on it as well, and I'm gonna say, Jackson, in the short time we spent together, the short time we've known each other, you've opened my eyes to a lot more of the world than I first thought was there. You were a kind man, and you didn't deserve to go the way you did. But I assure you, Jackson, I will make sure that you were remembered for the good things you did and not the way that you left this world. And then I'll step back.
The last thing I remember of my friend, the last good memory I have of Elias, Jackson Elias, we got drunk, or rather completely drunk, at the Red Trumpet Inn. We had finished, we were publishing Hungry Dead, and it seemed like at that moment that we didn't really have any worries or cares other than just living our lives. And we got drunk. It was nice. It was really nice. And that's how I'm going to remember my friend. It's just happy and somewhat carefree.
I will put a flower on the grave. Mein Kamerad, ich werde dich vermissen. Kind of step back.
Frederick, why don't you say something?
Not much to say. He's a good man. Good friend. Shame he didn't visit me in New Mexico, but, well, more's the shame I didn't visit him much at all. Last time I saw him was your wedding, Octavius.
We're
That
not
was the night
talking
to
about the
remember.
disasters that happened.
Yeah, well, that's I'll carry his memory.
Anything from you, Morris?
Well, I've spent most of the last few years out of the country, and I didn't get to spend much time in Jackson's company, but we did correspond at great length, and it was something of a lifeline at times. Things got a bit rough, especially when I was in Mexico, and I appreciated the kind words and the advice he gave me. I wish I'd taken more of it. He will be sorely missed. Godspeed, my friend.
Godspeed, Jackson.
Godspeed, Jackson.
Godspeed.
We're going to find the people that did this to you.
And so they lower the coffin in and go, and they start to bury it. At this point, Carlton kind of pulls the five of you aside. He says, "I would like all of you to come to my office this coming Monday, the 19th, to discuss Jackson's will."
Good.
I'm in his will.
All right.
Are we going to be back by the 19th?
If the 19th does not work, I can easily reschedule.
It's the 17th today, right?
17th today.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll be back on the 19th.
You're just going to go up for the day.
Yeah, we'll be back.
And what time would you prefer on the 19th?
Let's say 2 p.m.
2 p.m. And see his secretary writes that down. Thank you. Please, I have.
Is Kensington?
It's a day of
still
mourning
here?
and reflection. Kensington's kind of lingering.
Yeah. I'll go over and give him a hug.
And Carlton and Willa leave. And after a bit, you see one of the reporters kind of starts walking up. Very slowly, still trying to be respectful. She does seem to be a bit excited almost, though.
Do we identify her?
Well, she walks up to you and she introduces herself as, if I don't cough, Rebecca Schusenberg. Like, I'm a reporter with the New York Times. I've been covering. I did an article about Jackson's.
Right.
his
Yes.
death.
we read it.
Your sources work quick.
Oh,
You work with the
news.
police.
We have our contacts. Listen, are you familiar at all with the string of similar murders that happened in Harlem?
The ones that Mr. Hilton Adams has been charged with.
Yes, him. Well, he's who I'd like to talk to you about.
Well, that's interesting because that's who I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh well. Well, that's great news. If I feel silly. I'm not prepared. I didn't know how you would react. But please, if you get a moment, if I could just pencil in a time for you to come by my office. I need a bit of time to get my notes together, but I heard that you wanted to bring justice for your friend, and well, there's a man. There's another innocent man who may die.
I'm assuming you mean Adams.
Yes.
Yes.
Adams.
Is Adams? So Adams is being held responsible for the murders. Has he been convicted, sentenced
Yes.
yet?
He's been sentenced. He's at Sing Sing prison. It won't be too much longer before they send him to the chair.
When is that timed now? When is that going to happen?
In the next few weeks.
Okay.
Miss Schusenberg, would you say that a man by the name of Captain Robson?
Her expression just sours immediately.
Right. Yeah. He's unfortunately the man who claimed jurisdiction on our friend Jackson's murder.
No, of course he would. That
we managed to capture one of the assailants, and he's now in. So it's surprising to me that now we've captured one and Robson's taken him over. That Hilton Adams is still being charged and still locked up.
Captain Robson is the type of man that goes through great lengths to protect those that line his pockets.
Right.
Enough said. Yeah.
So please, when would be a good time for you?
Maybe
to meet with me.
19th on the
19th?
morning. Yeah, morning would be good.
Morning of the 19th.
Yeah, because we have afternoon.
Let's say midday. We don't know what time we're going to be getting in.
Oh, we have midday already penciled in for the other.
No, 2 o'clock we got.
Yeah, so maybe 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Is that 11 a.m. okay? So good.
No,
Or 10?
That's perfect. Let's see. What's it out?
All right.
Thank you, and my condolences.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And she leaves.
Oh, the Kensington was here too, right?
Yes.
I asked him if it's okay for me to come by. Do we have any time before the train after this?
A little bit, an hour or so.
Yep.
Is it possible for me to swing by and take some photographs of what he has, just so we can have fast, accountable, transportable duplicate?
He says yes, but don't lose those copies.
Oh, it wouldn't be copies. I would take photos of them. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Hold on to them.
Yeah, Got it. Yeah.
I mean,
his-
the state Jackson was in. It would
Yeah.
the
It would
ruin
be
that it might
damning
bring
to
to
his
him.
reputation if those got out.
Completely understand. This is not for getting out. It
Please,
is purely for.
You understand the gravity, yes. Yes,
Done.
you can take photos.
We'll meet you at the train station.
Good.
All right, so time. You can take the photos. Where are you getting them developed?
Oh, I have my own little
You have your own
studio.
little-
Okay.
So you're
It's what
developing
I
them
do
at
for a
Cape.
living. Yeah, it's yeah.
We won't be able to get them developed until we get
No,
back.
no, you don't.
Yeah,
have time.
yeah. So it'll be easy once we get back, though.
And you can all board the train for Arkham.
Good.
All right.
They didn't get stopped by the police.
You do not get stopped by the police.
So we have nice accommodations. It's about a 6-hour trip. We should be coming.
I'm going through all of the information, the paperwork, and all the stuff that we've collected so far, and writing down names and dates and locations, just so I've got a more collective kind of, I guess, quick glance list that I can look at my notebook. You know, so like I'll have like a line between Nkwane, Mombasa imports. You know, that all that I've got that sort of like almost like a family tree line out type thing.
Learning the mappings. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I also called ahead to Miskatonic.
Okay, so calling ahead to Miskatonic, they actually got you in touch with Professor Cowles, who says that he's excited to have visitors, and would love to have you in his home on Sunday morning for some breakfast.
All right. What time? 8:30? 9?
9.
9. That's a good time. Considering that we'll probably be at our hotel by just before midnight. All right. So on our way, what I'd like to sort of discuss is what sort of questions do you think that we need to ask Professor Connells?
Well, his talk was on the Australian cults, the Sandbat, the call to the Sandbat.
Sandbat, hold on. That was the flyer?
Yeah, and it was the flyer we found in Jackson's apartment, and he was doing a talk about the
Right.
I'm assuming it's a death cult because obviously that's what Jackson was researching and things.
The Cult of Darkness in Polynesia and the Southwest Pacific.
We could also
Long way from Africa.
I don't, yeah, it's not, that you said
I
Australia.
wonder if
He's from Australia.
yeah.
Oh, okay, he's Australian.
we could also ask if he knows of any of these cults. Have they spread significantly through his studies to any other places than their points of origin? That would be a good
Yeah.
foundation of seeing, is this more of a network or is this just a local cult and it ends there?
Well, the other thing you gotta ask, I mean, because these cults, they could be connected, and just each place they've just been given a different name. You know,
Interesting.
because like I know
Possibly, yes.
there's sometimes you've got a gang, they'll be based out of New York, but then they'll have an associating gang that they work with in a different city.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but usually a cult is a cult. It's a religion. The religion's the same. I don't know why the name wouldn't be the same.
We can also ask if he met with a Mr. Jackson Elias, either before or after his
Right. We don't
his
actually
talk.
know. We don't even know when the talk was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe
I
that's
believe it
something that
was-
Jackson went to and talked to him.
Yeah, some time had passed. I don't quite remember. Might have been a few weeks, but
Excellent. All right, so we got some stuff to ask.
Mhm.
Hopefully, nothing will happen on the train while we're going.
Okay, no. So your train ride is
make
fine.
make
No
a drive
window.
train
Wake up.
roll.
Beautiful train.
No Wendigo attacks.
Actually, this is just where we do all of horror on the Orient Express.
yeah. Slots in.
Or on the
Get the-
Miskatonic Express.
The Essex County Express. Okay, so you. Yep, arriving in Arkham is fine. Hotel is fine.
Probably close to midnight.
Mhm.
Get to our hotel. See you in the morning.
Good night. Good night, all.
It's not. It's the 18th. Good morning, gentlemen. How did you all sleep?
Oh, okay. There's the coffee. Ugh.
Slept all right.
I ordered breakfast up. They're bringing coffee and
I thought we were having breakfast at
yeah. Well, you never
Doctor's.
know what he's gonna order, so I just got some
Yeah, so-
some Danishes and shit.
I want to have pre-coffee before meeting.
Yeah, it's just a
free coffee.
It ain't free, but
Pre-game the
Free.
coffee.
All right, I'll have some coffee.
all right.
All right, so arriving at his house, when you arrive, a young lady answers the door. Are you're here to have breakfast with my father?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
indeed.
Professor Cowles?
Yes.
Yep.
But please, right in here. And she leads you into a dining room. I'll go fetch him. So she leaves, and then she comes back with a very well-dressed man. Has a very pleasant smile on his. He's like, yes. He's welcome. Welcome. He was just gonna go fetch us some trays from the kitchen, and we can get right on
Thank
to
you so much for
the
having
chat.
us.
Professor Cowles, nice to meet you.
Yes.
Dr. Cowles, it is a pleasure to finally meet you in person.
Well, thank you.
Our correspondence has always been cordial, and I know for a fact that you're taking good care of the artifacts I sent you.
Oh
Was
yeah,
it
please,
coming up
please,
on
help me put a face to a name.
Frederick Chapman,
Fred!
honorary doctor now. Yes.
Oh, really? Well, congratulations. Sorry
Yeah.
if I haven't received any of your letters in a while, since I'm not in Australia at the moment.
Yeah, it's
A little difficult to have all that mail forwarded,
yeah,
the
the
other side of the
artifacts have
world.
slowed down coming out of the southwest, so yes, but it is
So I was
wonderful to meet you.
it's wonderful to meet you too. And I was told that you thank you. That's a tray down for the breakfast. And then his daughter kind of goes into the other room, but she's kind of hovering, listening in. And he says, "So you had I was told you had interest in a lecture of mine?"
Yes, you gave a lecture a while ago up in New York.
Let me see.
Just a few days ago, yeah.
I haven't been in New York that recently.
It was on
The 5th
There was no date on the.
Yeah, there wasn't a date on it.
There was no date. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you referring to the my lecture about the cult of the Sandbat?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that is the one.
Ah, yes, that was. No, dear, time slips away. No, maybe a month ago.
Do you
Month or so
remember
ago.
meeting with a man by the name of Jackson Elias
Uh,
around that
no,
time?
no,
Okay.
but his book, the Hungry Dead, was quite an enjoyable read.
Yes.
Sorry, what is
Entertaining.
what is this about Jackson?
Well, do the papers here in Arkham follow on not necessarily local news, but more sensational topics from other cities?
Well, the Miskatonic University tends to collect clippings from various newspapers.
Okay. Well, we were summoned to New York by our friend. He was looking into a slew of potentially cult-related murders, and unfortunately, before we were able to meet up with him, he, well, his work caught up with him.
Oh,
Yes.
I see.
So,
Well, yeah, if you. And so he's going to, let me just share this handout with you real fast. And Frederick, if you want to read this goes over the information that he shares with you about his lecture.
Sure. 1. A bat cult once existed among the Aboriginal peoples of Australia. It was known across the continent, and the god of the cult was known as the father of all bats. Adherents believed that by making human sacrifices to their god, they themselves would become worthy enough that the father of all bats would appear to them. Once he was enticed to appear, the god would conquer all men. Sacrifices were run through a gauntlet of worshippers who struck the victims with clubs embedded with the sharp teeth of bats. The teeth were coated with a fast-acting poison, somehow derived from fermented bat droppings. The victims apparently went mad before they died. Leaders of the cult reputedly could take the forms of the bat-winged snakes, enabling them to steal sacrifices from across the land. Cowles believes that this cult became dormant or extinct hundreds of years ago. Its former existence is the reason that he became interested in Jackson Elias's book about present-day cults. 2. An Aboriginal song cycle mentions a place where enormous beings gathered, somewhere in the west of Australia. The songs say that these gods, who were not at all like men, built great sleeping walls and dug great caves. But living winds blew down the gods and overthrew them, destroying their camp. When this happened, the way was open for the father of all bats, who came into the land and grew strong. 3. A set of 4 overexposed glass slides. Each shows a few sweating men standing beside enormous black blocks of stone, pitted and eroded, but clearly dressed and formed for architectural purposes. Dim carvings seem to decorate some. Billows of sand are everywhere. Though he did not bring the book with him, Cowles says that the discoverer, when Arthur McWhirr of Port Hedland, Australia, kept a diary in which he recorded several attacks on the party by Aboriginals. McWhirr reportedly records deaths to victims from hundreds of small punctures, reminiscent of the earlier bat cult. Cowles tells a tale he collected from near the Arafura Sea in northern Australia. In it, Sandbat, or Father of all Bats, has a battle of wits with Rainbow Snake, the aboriginal deification of water and the patron of life. Rainbow Snake succeeds in tricking and trapping Sandbat and his clan in the depths of a watery place from which Sandbat can only complain and is unable to return to trouble the people.
Fascinating.
So yeah, so I believe that there might still be a modern holdover of this this cult of darkness, as I believe my lecture was entitled.
Were there any, what were the evidence fragments that we took pertaining to Australia? Were there any?
I don't think so. The only mention of Australia is the fact that this doctor is from there that I can see.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the only thing mentioning Australia.
Okay.
The cult of darkness in Polynesia and the Southwest Pacific is, pardon my ignorance, is Australia in Polynesia? Is it considered Polynesia?
Polynesia
No,
would
no,
be,
no.
I believe, northeast of Australia by quite a bit.
So the lecture didn't have anything to do with Australia.
Well, in the Southwest Pacific.
Oh, yeah, then yes, it is in the South Pacific.
Southwest Pacific, okay.
Because New Zealand is considered part of Polynesian area, and Australia is like here. So they're in the same vicinity.
I personally don't like the similarity in nomenclature between Father of all Bats and another patriarchal figure, which we're all accustomed to.
Well, if you have any further interest, those photographic plates, they were made by one Robert Mackenzie. He's a mining engineer.
Are they available for us to
He's
view?
so he's the oh, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. The plates were made by Arthur McWhirr. Robert Mackenzie was the executor of his estate. I do have McWhirr's diary, but it's back at my home in Australia, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would happily show it to you.
When was that expedition?
The Carlisle?
No, the McWhirr expedition. I remember reading something vague about it. It didn't. It obviously didn't make headlines.
It's a recent affair.
Well, would you happen to know? Are there paper napkins or a piece of paper I could draw on? And I'm going to do kind of a caricature of the symbol that we saw on Larkin's chest, a caricature of it, and then I'm going to draw the symbol that was carved into Elias's forehead, and I'm going to ask if he knows anything specifically about either of those or anything related to those.
He takes a look at him and he shakes his head. Sorry, I haven't seen anything like those.
Yeah, another Another academic that we consulted is of the opinion that the top symbol is being used by a gang for intimidation purposes. So personally, we haven't found any evidence for or against that.
Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, this is not my area of expertise. Now, if you want to talk more about Aboriginal culture and of Australia, New Zealand, and Polynesia, then we can talk all day, but not this.
Gentlemen, anything on your mind?
So this Cult of Darkness, it was under the impression that it had died out some years ago, but you're under the belief now that it's resurfaced?
Yes, just with the attacks, the method used resembles the bat tooth clubs that were used
Quite primitive.
back with the original cults. So
Yeah.
it would lead me to believe that there is a possibility that some semblance of that cult still remains.
In what area of Australia is it again that the attacks are happening? Remind me.
Was it Melbourne?
Say the attacks. They were out in the Eastern Australian outback. Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, we're near Melbourne. Then. Melbourne's port city. Okay, so in the outback. Well, that makes sense for a cult, obviously, especially if they're in hiding.
But then again, we have a cult right potentially here in New York. Potentially, but we've got all these murders that are lining up, and that's
no.
not.
But what I mean, if the murders are happening in the outback,
well,
the outbacks, like in the middle, like Australia is huge.
Oh yeah,
and the outback is a very vast, dangerous. It's kind of like, simplest thing I can describe to here is Monument Valley. That kind of, it's pretty barren out there. Right. So we know Jackson had interest in death cults. But what was his interest in this death cult?
Well, one possibility is maybe he had none. Maybe it was just a flyer from a lecture that he went to.
He just picked it up. Yeah, correct.
He just picked it up.
Yeah. Researching.
But
we're assuming that's what his next book was going to be on.
Yeah. Obviously, he was working on some sort of death cult.
As far as for the GM, as far as we know, between the Carlisle expedition, there was no connection to Australia. Like, there's no member of the.
There is no connection between the Carlisle expedition and Australia that you know of.
Okay. Cool.
Well, Professor Cowles, thank you for your time. I'm wondering, because we are kind of doing some background research on these rather occult-looking symbols. If you could point us in the direction of maybe another professor here at Miskatonic. You have a large reputation for occult studies. Somebody who might be able to answer some questions for us.
Well, I'm sure anybody in the folklore department or any of the wonderful librarians could assist you. The Miskatonic University Library is may be your best source of information.
Well, okay, maybe we'll drop by there. Thank you. I say I believe the library curator is Armitage, Henry Armitage. I seem to recall corresponding with him once a number of years ago. Let's see if he's still here. Not sure what we're looking for, guys.
Yeah, color me stumped.
The Juju house, when you get back. You might want to case that place first. It does seem quite a bit like there might be a connection of something more sinister there, maybe.
Yeah, before we do that, I think we need to we need to find out what's going on with this whole Schoenberg and the Hilton Adams situation, because remember the shoe shine, he said that Hilton and his friends would go around in a group and they were trying to catch the killer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in Harlem, and so is the Juju house. It's all.
So what I mean is, we may not need to case the place. If we can find this group of friends, they may have the information we need.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if our reporter friend can help us find that.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Yeah. I just don't want us. I mean, because we've left the house now. It's just us as a group.
Yeah.
I don't want us doing what we did last time in Peru and just rushing into that a situation where we could get ourselves hurt or killed and stuff. We need to go the smart way about it. We need to do the research, and I think heading into Harlem, a bunch of white guys heading into Harlem trying to case a place could be asking for bad news, especially if the guy who runs the police station around there is on the take. He won't need any excuse from us to throw us in the slammer and pin something on us, especially if he thinks we're sniffing around his business.
Well, the most likely times that you'd find a bunch of white people in Harlem would be in the evenings because of all the jazz clubs.
Yeah.
We could use that somewhat as a cover. Dress nicely, even though we're snooping around. And if somebody says, "Hey, what are you doing there?" We say,
it depends on where what's around the Juju house, though.
Yeah.
If it's not near a jazz club.
So we have an opportunity, because we're here at Miskatonic, to get see what we can find out about the occult aspects here before we catch our train, which we're going to have to catch in a couple of hours.
Okay. Yeah, let's see if we can't nail down these symbols.
Yeah.
Octavius, make an idea roll.
91. My idea is to drop by that nice little restaurant over there that says Maestro's.
I like your idea. There's a wonderful library here. In fact, what my company researches and investigates frequently is along these lines. So this is a great place. This is the place to be.
It says on the window here at Maestro's, world famous meatball sub.
Mm-hmm.
Hauser, with your knowledge and kind of working with these libraries in the region on occasion, you can make an idea roll as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, 32. That's got to be good, hopefully. Idea. Yeah, that is. It's a regular pass.
You're thinking back to one of the letters that you found with Jackson about Miriam Atwright.
Oh, yeah.
Who he wrote at Harvard about a book.
Oh,
that's right.
We actually had planned that we were going to go there, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right.
Can we say that the train goes later?
Yeah.
Yeah. Harvard's about an hour from here. So we can rent a car and drive.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can rent a car, but we can drive.
We need to book it. No pun intended.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you guys want to do?
Well, if meet up with, maybe can we call Marion Artright to see if she could meet with us briefly? And if not, we would have to come back another day after the 19th, because the 19th's pretty booked. Well, I guess we could, in the evening of the 19th, come back.
Well, one of us could stay here and do that while the others go back, but let's see what we can get done. I relish the opportunity to go through Miskatonic's library, but let's go ahead and head over to
Well, some of
Harvard.
us can go to Harvard, and some of us go to Miskatonic.
All right.
Yeah, divide and conquer.
Well, then I'll stay here at Miskatonic and do a little research, and whoever wants to stay with me can, and the rest of you go get to Harvard.
I would love to.
I'll stay here with you. I can't face any more traveling. I'm feeling too weak.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I'll go
to
with
travel.
you, Hauser.
Oh, I was going to research in the library here as well. Okay.
All right.
Okay, no, all right. I'll go. I'm happy to go to Harvard if you want to come with me, Frederick, and then you three stay here in Miskatonic.
I'm a good researcher.
Okay.
I'll hand Octavius, or make Octavius a quick copy of my little sheet with the two symbols on it, the caricature of the Larkin symbol, and then the forehead inscription.
Excellent. So we are armed and ready to get some information from the library.
Yeah.
All right, and since we are close on time with Christopher and Frederick heading off towards Harvard, Octavius, Morris, and House are preparing to do some research at Miskatonic's library. This is where we're going to call it for tonight.
All right, it's a good spot.
Excellent.
Our players included Zane Fleming, Brian Daly, Mick Swan, Stuart Lively, and myself, Morgan Llewellyn, as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We have a new patron. Jack W. has generously pledged $10 a month, which will help us to continue to improve our show. We will add his name to the website and to the end of credits at the end of the shows. Once again, thank you so much, Jack. If you'd like to support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch that bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good game.